Hello everybody, welcome to another Mimosa Monday. Cheers. And today we are going to be talking about preventing data failure. I know this is not a very glamorous or sexy topic, but it is something that I think is really important. It's one of those things that you don't really realize how important it is until until something bad happens. And so what I really want to talk to you guys about is how to take good care of the digital files that you're capturing on your digital camera. So some of the points I talk about today will be applicable to your iPhone pictures. I can definitely do another Mimosa Monday just specifically for iPhones. But today I'm really gearing this towards people that are using an actual digital camera to take pictures, but not necessarily a professional. So just someone who wants to take pictures of their kids or fun, family events, landscapes, vacations, and that kind of thing. So a couple of things that are really important to keep in mind to prevent corrupting your images or having some data failure. The first one that I want to talk to you guys about is buying a name brand card. So your card probably is going to look something like this. This is an SD card. This is a compact flash card. It's a little bit bigger, and your camera will probably take one or the other depending on what type of camera you have. These bigger ones are usually something more that professionals use, but again, you might have a professional camera, so you might be using this, or you're using this. But what is really important is that you don't just necessarily use the one that comes with your camera. A lot of times, depending on the camera you get, it's going to come with a kit of some things that it says that you need. And they will throw in like an off-brand or off-market type of compact flash or SD card. You're going to want to throw that one away. So the best brands for SD cards and compact flash cards are SanDisk. I like Lexar. I personally use SanDisk. But just make sure that it's an accredited brand and that it's a good quality card, because that's going to be your first line of defense against having something bad happen to your digital files. The second thing is one that most people don't know about. It's important to make sure that your battery is fully charged, or at least not completely dead at some point during your shooting. So if you run your battery all the way right down until it dies on you, that's a really great way to corrupt your data. Your camera is going to be struggling to write the data that it's taking as the battery is failing, and there's a good chance that it's not going to do a good job of that. And that data corruption could lead to all of your files being corrupt, or at least the last few that you take on it. So just make sure that your battery is charged when you start shooting and that you have a spare battery so that it doesn't die while you're shooting. The next thing is to turn your camera off when you insert and remove the card. So that one's really important. You don't ever want to just open up the door and take the card right out. It might be still accessing that data even if you haven't necessarily just taken a photograph. So it's really important that you stop that transfer of data before you take the card out, because that can definitely lead to some bad things for your card. The next one is to not fill the card all the way to the capacity. So even though your card might be able to hold, let's say, 500 photographs, you don't necessarily want to fill it all the way up to that 500. Those last couple frames you take, again, your card's going to be trying to squeeze it into the last little corners of the card, and that's that's not necessarily a good thing. It might not be able to do that properly, and that's a good way to invite data failure into your life. The next one is important for consumers and professionals. You never want to delete photographs on the back of your camera. So let's say you're looking through some pictures you've taken and you see a bad one, or it's a test shot, and you go, oh, I'm going to delete that. That's a really bad idea, because the way that your camera does that, it's going to actually tag that file for deleting it. It doesn't actually remove the data. And so then the next photograph you take is going to be put into that spot on the card, and it just kind of starts to fragment where your card is saving the data instead of doing it in a nice orderly fashion. Now it's kind of doing it all over the place. So you really want to transfer all of the images off of your card, and then you can delete them on your computer later. But you don't want to be deleting things on the back of the camera. That one's important. And the last one I have for you guys is to format the card, not to just click the delete all button. So let's say you have just take it, you've turned off your camera, you've taken the card out, you put it into your computer, you back up all of your files, you've transferred all of your files safely on your computer, and then you put it back into your camera and you're going to clear out those images that you've already shot. You don't want to hit the delete all button, you want to hit the format button, and that's going to just completely wipe the card. It's going to do a really nice clean formatting of it instead of the delete. I'm not really sure why they have two options, considering you never want to pick delete. So I don't know why they do that, but you always want to pick format. That's a much cleaner way to make sure that your images are off the card, and that your card is ready to be shot on again. And the other thing I want to mention is when you do transfer them onto your computer, you don't ever just want to save your digital files on your computer. I always say if you have data in one place, you don't actually have it at all, because that will fail. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And as a professional photographer that's been in business for 10 years, making a living on not losing files, I promise you, data failure is something that can happen if you're not careful, and you always need to have a backup. I cannot stress that enough. So today would be a great day. It's raining and gross out, so you should back up all of your files. I just wanted to show you guys some options for that. So these are really great. They're so inexpensive these days. The technology has really come a long way. This is a Western Digital. It's called My Passport. It's a little hard drive that you plug into your computer, and I think you can get a terabyte, which is 1,000 gigabytes, for something like $60 these days, which is phenomenal. So you just plug this right into your computer. What I would do is copy all of the images from your card onto one hard drive, and then I would copy it immediately onto another hard drive. And so that way you always have one hard drive that you work off of, that you maybe print things out of, or that you're always making edits to or whatever, but then you have a backup hard drive as well that's labeled backup. You don't use it for anything else. You just put a clean version of everything on that, and you will thank me when your primary hard drive fails, or when your computer fails, or if you have to take it to the doctor, as I like to call it, and you need to access one of your pictures that you can't because your other computer's at the doctor. So today I shared with you some tips for shooting your digital files on your camera in a really clean and safe way to avoid losing your most precious memories. And I hope that that was helpful. I hope that you guys take some of my tips and start using them before you have a problem. And if you've already had a problem, you probably will take this very seriously, but feel free to message me if you have any questions about this. Again, I know it's a little bit boring, but it's really important to protect those memories, because once they're gone, they're gone. So cheers today. I hope you guys have a great week, and happy Mimosa Monday, and have a great week.